Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, glorious God.
My name is Sofo Tanko Rashid Computer, CEO of Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication, and also Deputy National Director of Elections for the ruling NDC government. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Isaiah 9:6. I wish to take this opportunity to wish the good people of Ghana a happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. We from GFEC will continue to partner media houses, especially Metro TV, and then its cherished listeners and viewers across the globe, so that we have a wonderful Christmas this year. We believe that you need to have your life in order to enjoy Christmas. You don't have to be in the grave in order to enjoy Christmas. So let's live a responsible life. Our drivers should drive our brothers and sisters home safely. Those who want to embark onto their hometown to enjoy the Christmas, we entreat our drivers, transport owners, to be sure that they send them home safely. We want every Ghanaian to be alive to enjoy their fruit of labor. Once again, I wish the good people of my hometown, which is Bimbilla, wish them well, and hope that they have a very prosperous New Year coming in after the Christmas celebration. Thank you once again.
I bet to you, and I feel for me to envy. I feel sharper come to I bet to be a joke, yamia to me. Wama fipa to me. I feel I bet to be a joke, yamia to me. I feel shepherd coming to view. I feel shepherd coming to view. I feel shepherd coming to view. I feel I bet to the Ejo nyamya tumie Wama fipa tumie Afi akwa apro Abe tuye subie Ejo nyamya tumie Wama fipa tumie Afi shepherd, call me to imbue. Afi shepherd, call me to imbue. And kiss the someone else space using cards with empty promises. You don't need to worry about me again. Merry Christmas, baby. You wake up all alone and wonder why I'm the homie now. Let my phone ring. A dose of your kind of love, and I'll let my absence show you what I've got you for Christmas is losing me. Merry Christmas, baby. You can have just what you gave me. Charms and lights. You can keep your wandering hands and eyes.
My name is Isaac Boamanyako, the Member of Parliament for Efia constituency in the Western region of the Republic of Ghana. I read from Genesis chapter 3, verse number 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. I take this opportunity to wish all of you, particularly the good people of Efia constituency and the Western region and the entire country, a very, very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. It is always a pleasure coming your way. It's a beautiful Monday morning. It's the start of the week, but it's also in less than 48 hours. A new year beckons, a new year dawns. 2026 is what we're going to be witnessing, and I'm sure that you can't wait, just as all of us here. 2026. We hope that 2026 will bring in its wake some better, how do you call it, quality of life, and all the other things that you are hoping and praying that you are able to achieve. 2026 brings all of that to you. But anyway, my name is Mo Raudu, and thank you very much for joining us on the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Once again, compliment of the season, and today is the 29th, as it indicates, of December 2025, and typically we would have given you, brought you the front pages of the newspapers, but as you do know, the newspapers are still on break, and so we wouldn't do that. But instead, that's the word I'm looking for. We'll tell you what the online portals are reporting, and as usual, I'll start with the MetroTVOnline.com. Now, Metro TV Online this morning has a Nigerian sex worker alleges assault by client over 50 cedis payment at Second D. There's Gold crisis. Then PNP urges removal of Bank of Ghana governor and CEO over 2.5 billion loss. There's a Kotakot Thrash, Bechem United 6-0 to move to the top of the GPL table. Vice President calls for stronger support for sickle cell patients. And then there's also Sudan stand Equatorial Guinea to keep progression plans intact. There's also TAC questions GRA deal with True Dare demands full disclosure, and there's NACOC raids drug hubs nationwide, seizes ecstasy and also meth and cannabis. Let's look at what is on City Newsroom. Now, City Newsroom has NACOC raids on drug dens to be sustained nationwide, and there's a dry season triggers acute water crisis in northern communities. 6 commercial drivers arrested for overcharging in Accra. There's Muntaka inspect inner road project in Asawase constituency. Prayers resume at Ho Central Mosque as police tighten security. Ghana is on the right path in the Bahama Global Info Analytics poll. There's NACOC raids drug dens in Eastern and Greater Accra region, 72 arrested. Family of late Ghanaian student who died in Latvia welcomes a Blackware's intervention. 2 injured in renewed chieftaincy clash at Gomwa Nyanyano. And as police arrest Canadian national Ghanaian partner over alleged arson at Oyarefa. Sustained funding key to TOR's long-term operations, according to COPEC. Now, if you go to myjoyonline.com, this is what is there. So that's myjoyonline.com. It says NACOC dismantles drug dens in Eastern and Greater Accra regions in Operation White Ember. And as far service rescues 2 in a truck accident at Asukoko. And Ghanaian national and Ghanaian boyfriend arrested for alleged arson at Oyarifa. There's Passion Air, female pilot shares inspiring journey into aviation. ECG announces technical challenge with MMS compliant meters, says it's been fixed and only shortlisted teachers with index numbers eligible for GES promotion exams. Let's now check out what's on Ghana Web. Yes, Ghana Web. So Ghana Web this morning has, I was an MPP member before I became a judge, but would never support the NDC till I die. Domahini has been talking. And there's also sculpted mermaid, terrestrial beings captivate holidaymakers at Sakumono, beach. There's Israel's recognition of Somaliland. Could it spare Middle East peace and curb Islamist terrorism in Africa? It comes with a question mark. Ambassador Victor Smith calls diaspora investment in Las Vegas. And there's Man United youngster Addin Heaven rejects Ghana switch, commits future to England. U.S. affairs undocumented migrant $3,000 to voluntary return home. There's President Mahama seeks Asante Hine's blessings for good governance. And denying your partner sex can lead to jail for emotional abuse. And that's to the brim, how Stonebwoy filled up the 40,000 capacity stadium. And this Christmas festivities, Aveno traders buyers speak on livestock sales. That's with the today's Ghana web. All right, so, well, in place of the newspapers which are not out yet, we've just brought you what the online portals are reporting this morning. So this morning, it's a special one. In fact, Good Morning Ghana is going to be on today and tomorrow, and then we'll take another break on Wednesday to make way for the new year, prepare for the new year, which is to usher in 2026. So as you can tell and as you can see, we are coming to you from a different studio. Yes, because we want to make it special. Today's show is going to be very special. Tomorrow as well is going to be very special. Now, today what we intend to do is that we're going to speak to people who are not politicians, strictly speaking, on some issues that have come up in the public in the last perhaps 72 hours or so. And it's become a very, very, very topical issue. But it essentially has to do with Ghana's economy and you know, closely related to that is our finances. Here we're talking Bank of Ghana. We're talking Gold Board, and we're talking the IMF's fifth review of the extended credit facility, which we have been under for almost 3 years. And some issues have come up with some losses that apparently the Bank of Ghana has incurred through its forex operations. And with the Gold Board, the Gold Board has had to issue a statement to dismiss that assertion, and also the Bank of Ghana as well has had to issue a statement to disagree with the IMF's report. And some people have raised issues with the Bank of Ghana's decision to even disagree with the IMF. And some also saying that what the Bank of Ghana has done is a good move. So there are all these issues that we intend to look. So this morning we're going to talk to somebody who works in the extractive sector. He works with a civil society organization that deals with the extractive sector. He's a very, very popular man, a man whose opinions and views are generally very well respected. I'm talking about Dr. Steve Manteya. He'll be joining us via Zoom this morning. But in the studio is Professor Lord Mensah. He's been quiet lately, hasn't he? Well, it's because Ghana has given him a job to do, and he's focusing on that job. But we've been able to, you know, smoke him out out of his hideouts. And it hasn't been easy because he's an extremely busy man. And so he is our special guest on the show today. We're going to have a one-on-one with him. There's lots of issues to talk about. His organization, his institution alone. I'm talking about the local government service in itself. There's lots of issues to talk about. And then we'll look broadly at the economy and what the IMF says about Ghana's economy and whether we're on the right path and so on and so forth. And then, you know, would narrow it down to some specific issues that have come up with, especially the Bank of Ghana's, what some people have described as quasi-fiscal operations, which some people are saying it's not a good thing, and that the Bank of Ghana should be insulated from some of these things, because otherwise it creates what some economists have said. It promotes or encourages what people are terming as fiscal dominance, you know, which is the job that they said the finance ministry is supposed to be doing. The central bank has taken that up, and that sort of can create or undermine its independence, as we try to term it. So there are all these issues that we'll be looking at. So we shortly should be expecting to be joined via Zoom Dr. Steve Manteya, who is, I've told you, he's a deputy chair for an NGO that looks into the extractive industry, and he'll be talking to us shortly on these issues and some matters arising. But before that, let me say a very good morning to Professor Lord Mensah. He's here with us. He's the head of Ghana's local governance service, and he's our special guest on the show this morning. Good morning, sir. And it's good to see you.
Good morning, Moro.
Long time.
Yes. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while.
With the role I'm playing now, I have to be on the quiet side,
right,
and then focus on what I'm doing. Yes.
It's totally understandable. But anyway, compliments of the season.
Yes,
you know.
I mean, same to you.
Typically, how do you celebrate your Christmas?
Yeah, so usually I'm the type that enjoys a classic bronya.
Okay.
And 24th, I leave the capital city. But usually I want to be in a quiet environment. And so that is the time that I visit, the family.
Okay.
Back in my village. And then the few gifts that I have for them, I give them out. But then after that, myself and my nuclear family, we tend to, travel out, to maybe somewhere in the far west. This time we are planning to go to the far east, to see. So normally my Christmas are not usually at home. I want to move out and then see what the country has. And also to assess, how things are happening in the country. But most of the time, you move from your house to the office, you set off at dawn at 5:30, and then you go back, late in the night. And so that has been, the trend. And so during the Christmas times that, in a relaxed form, I tend to ascertain what exactly, is happening at the local, level. Being a local government, head, ensure that, exactly what is happening at the local level in terms of, government policy orientations and other things. So basically, I don't spend Christmas at home. Even before occupying that position, I tend to move around. So my kids sometimes, they've coined a term called Christmas on wheels. I bag them, put our things together. And those are times that sometimes you can even go for camping, and all just to move away from, the usual environment that you find yourself always, both home and then, your workplace. So that has been my style of, celebrating Christmas every now and then.
Okay, I see. But where do you, when you talk about a village, which village are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I come from Achim Takoradi.
Okay.
That is between Kede and Odan. It's about 3 kilometers from Kede. So that's not, that far from Accra.
Okay.
It's about maximum 2.5 hours, depending on the conditions of the road. But recently, I think Eastern Region has one of the best roads that we can talk about in this country. So it takes me about 2.5 hours to get there.
2.5 hours to get there.
That is under Denchembo, Akwetia.
Okay.
Yes.
That's where you were born?
Yes. I was born and bred over there.
Oh, okay.
I spent my first, my formative years over there. Talking about from class 1 all the way to JHS 3 before I went to Fansfilm.
Wow. Not many people really know that side of you in terms of where you come from and so on. Because each time the media talks to you, it's about strictly about the economy, finance, and so on.
I'm a typical Achim man.
Yes. So that's interesting. We'd have a whole conversation about the transition. Because you've been in the classroom for a long time, and now you're heading a very sensitive and non-partisan institution like the local government service, and how the transition has been like, and so on, and some of the things you found out and things so on and so forth. Now, let me just quickly speak to Dr. Steve Manteao. Now, Dr. Steve Manteao is joining us because of this back and forth between some, what I call critics, some economists, and Gold Board with regards to the IMF's assessment, or the IMF's how do you call it, talk about, or report, yes, which talks about some losses which have been incurred as a result of the domestic, purchase program, and the Bank of Ghana's own reaction to what the IMF has said. So, Bright, before we even speak to Dr. Steve Manteao, can we put up the Bank of Ghana's reaction to the IMF report and that of Gold Board? So this is what the central bank yesterday put out. It says Ghana's macroeconomic progress praised by IMF, gold loss claims speculative. Now, Ghana successfully completed the fifth review of the IMF ECF supported program on December 17, 2025. As outlined in IMF country report number 25343, the review acknowledged the significant macroeconomic progress made and commended the strong measures taken to realign the program following the policy reform setbacks in 2024. Now, while some structural reforms have faced delays due to their complexity, the report confirms that the macroeconomic environment has improved markedly. Okay. Now, I continue to say that real GDP growth, right? Real GDP growth has exceeded expectations. And it says inflation has declined faster than projected into the Bank of Ghana. And it says target range and international reserves are expanding steadily, tentatively. It's a tentative data from Bank of Ghana, BOG, as of mid-December 2025 suggests that international reserves could exceed 13 billion by end 2025, contributing to rising, confidence in the economy. Now, although the IMF review flagged financial risk associated with the domestic gold purchase program, it is important to place these concerns within the broader context of the program's significant macroeconomic contributions. Now, the DGPP, which is Domestic Gold Purchasing Program, is a policy tool that has helped to shore up Ghana's international reserves, supported currency stability, and enabled access to large volumes of foreign exchange without incurring new debt. Now, the operational role of Gold Board as an aggregator has been important in channeling gold-based inflows from the small-scale mining sector into the official market. Now, the collaborative structure between the bank and the Gold Board has ensured that DGPP remains anchored in public policy objectives. So, this is what the central bank, and it says the new foreign exchange operations framework introduced by the Bank of Ghana was also highlighted in the IMF report as a critical reform designed in line with global best practices. The framework clarifies intervention triggers, now separates reserve accumulation from market intermediation, and enhances transparency, all aimed at deepening confidence in FX markets. Now, the functioning, okay, it continues the functioning. Yes, Bryce, please continue. The functioning, yes? Okay, so I guess that would end it here because we need to speak to Dr. Steve Manteyao quickly. Doc, good morning. Thanks for joining us on the show. Hello, Doc. Hello? Hello, Dr. Steve Manteyao. Can you hear me? Okay, so I guess that we're having some challenges with... Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. Thank you very much for accepting to talk to us on the show this morning.
My pleasure.
Okay. Now, Doc is a policy analyst and also a natural resource governance advocate. Is this designation we are giving you sufficient to proceed with our conversation, or there's something else that you think we should know about you to properly set this conversation in the right context?
Well, I think it's sufficient. I've been working in the sector, when I say the sector, the extractive sector, for the past 25 years. I happen to have been the lead consultant for the Africa Mining Analysis for Ghana. I did this work for the Minerals Commission, sponsored by the UNDP. And so I come to this conversation with some understanding of how the sector works.
Sorry, once again, you said you consulted for the Africa Mining...
I was the lead consultant for the Africa Mining, Africa Mining Vision Gap Analysis for Ghana.
Okay. Africa Mining Vision Gap Analysis for Ghana. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Which assignment focused also on the small-scale mining sector and its contribution to domestic revenue mobilization. It will surprise you to know that in spite of the fact that the small-scale mining sector at the time was contributing some 40% of total national gold production, the sector's contribution to domestic revenue mobilization was less than 1%.
Okay, that's interesting. I think that this comment then sets the tone or the context for this conversation, that's which is very important, which is where we were before and where we are now. Now, Doc, you have been following this back and forth between Gold Board on one hand and the IMF report. In fact, it's not necessarily a back and forth, but IMF puts out a report, Gold Board disagrees, and tries to set the record straight. Tell us what your understanding of what this whole issue is.
You see, for a country to be able to harness the full benefits of its natural resources, it needs to approach it with a vision and a strategy.
Right.
The efforts will come at a certain cost, especially in the case of Gold Board. It inherited a situation that it is trying to resolve. If viewers will recall, sometime during the tenure of the previous government, the vice president visited the United Arab Emirates and found out that the Emirati authorities had imported gold worth $7 billion that year from Ghana. Our checks, and when I say our checks, the Ghana EITI checks with the Bank of Ghana revealed that in actual fact, according to Bank of Ghana records, we had actually exported $2 billion worth of gold to the Emirates, which fundamentally raises the question as to how the $5 billion worth of gold can be accounted for. Clearly, it suggests that the difference, which is $5 billion, had actually gone through smuggling to the Emirates. And that is why the Bank of Ghana wasn't able to record those shipments. So clearly, the situation Gold Board has inherited is one of massive smuggling. The sector, in terms of gold trade, was dominated by foreigners who will repatriate the benefits, the forex benefits of the trade back to their home countries, depriving Ghana of the scarcely, badly needed forex to shore up our local currency.
I see. So, Doc, essentially what you're trying to say is that the setting up of Gold Board has been a game changer.
Yes, it was to address the problem of smuggling in the gold sector so that Ghana can reap the full benefits of its gold exports. So that was the reason. And if you look at the Gold Board Statute of Establishment, 1140, you find clearly that Gold Board is mandated to institute a traceability scheme to be able to trace gold from the mine all the way to the market. The essence is to prevent illicit gold from entering the supply chain in accordance with the guidelines of the OECD and the Financial Action Task Force.
How, per your understanding, is Gold Board supposed to execute this? How does it do its work?
Right. Let me first explain that our previous attempts at stemming illegal mining in this country has been to resort to brute force. So we've had different types of task force trying to use force to stop illegal mining. These have not worked. And time has come for us to reconsider the strategy. And I think Gold Board in that sense is a game changer because it combines compliance enforcement with incentives, which is a way for Ghana to go. Let's make the point that when you use force, you drive the business underground. Look, I think sometime in 2019, 2018, thereabout, the then government declared a moratorium on all forms of mining in this country. And that was the year Ghana exported its largest volume of gold out of this country. So ask yourself, who were mining? On this occasion, Gold Board is providing incentives in terms of higher guaranteed price. Look, before Gold Board entered the market, there were established relationships between gold buyers, most of who are foreigners, and the Ghanaian gold miners. In fact, a lot of the miners were being pre-financed by these foreigners in exchange for the gold. Now, for Gold Board to penetrate that market, it needs to be very strategic and innovative. And so, at that time, gold was being traded at about 1 to 2% discount. If Gold Board entered the market and also provided 1 to 2% discount, there is no way it was going to be able to take control of the market. So certainly it needed to provide higher incentive than what the foreigners were offering at the time. So Gold Board decided to buy the gold at the going market rate, international market rate, so that it will become attractive for Ghanaian miners to sell their gold to the Gold Board.
Okay.
That is a way to outbid the foreigners, but that comes at a cost. And the cost is your operation cost, which the Bank of Ghana decided to absorb because Gold Board was not trading on its own. It was trading as an agent for the Bank of Ghana in building up reserves for the country.
Now, I asked an earlier question about, per your understanding of the operations of Gold Board, how does Gold Board go about buying this gold, and who finances them? What do they do with the gold that they buy, etc.? Educate us on how the model works.
Right. I think between Gold Board and Bank of Ghana, they haven't been very proactive in their public outreach and communication. But I recently discovered something innovative, something beautiful that Bank of Ghana is doing to be able to finance its gold purchases. Ghanaians will remember time past when even to purchase cocoa, will go and raise syndicated loan from Europe to come and buy our cocoa. Ghanaians will also recall during the previous government's era, we will, for instance, go and raise money from the Eurobond market to come and shore up our cedi. Now, what the Bank of Ghana is doing now, which I found out recently, is that it does not print money to buy gold. It does not raise loan to buy gold. What it does is that it convenes a meeting of all the commercial banks and informs them of how much it intends to inject into the forex market. Then the commercial banks will indicate how much of the dollars they will need. Then the Bank of Ghana will ask them to bring the cedi equivalent of the dollars they will need. This cedi equivalent is passed on to the Gold Board. The Gold Board buys the gold and then gives it to Bank of Ghana, and then it is given to Bank of Ghana's off-takers. The gold is exported and we get the dollars. The dollars are returned to the commercial banks to replace the cedi equivalent of the dollars that we took from them earlier. So this is a brilliant scheme for financing domestic gold purchases that I think even Cocoa Board can learn from.
But Doc, what used to be the situation before under PMMC?
Well, under PMMC, especially when PMMC was mandated to procure gold for the Gold for Oil program, my committee, the Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, did an assessment and made some recommendations. First and foremost, for the government to disclose how it was financing its gold purchases. because there was no budgetary allocation. So we needed to understand where we're getting the money from. It turned out that the Bank of Ghana printed money, okay, to finance its gold purchases, for which reason we saw an escalation of inflation during the period. Right. So when we were negotiating the IMF program, I'm sure this came to the attention of the IMF, and it advised government to pull out of the gold for oil program. There are other concerns with the gold for oil program that we raised. We didn't know who were the intermediaries in terms of the sale of the gold on the international market and then the procurement of petroleum products. So my committee requested the PMMC and the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana to disclose who these intermediaries were and at what commission we were procuring the oil products in exchange for the gold sales. But we never got a response from government at the time. The long and short of it is that government or Bank of Ghana printed money to finance PMMC in its gold purchasing program.
Wow, that's shocking. Now, it's interesting you just explained this to us, because the initial impression we got was that the central bank was pumping some billions of dollars into the system and wasn't getting anything returned.
Yes, of course, if you are buying gold, you pump billions of dollars into the system. You want to provide the money to procure the gold. Mind you, it's cedis that you need. So you pump cedis, you use the cedis to buy the gold. But the innovation in this current strategy is that Bank of Ghana didn't have to print money. It just sourced the money from the commercial banks, bought the gold, brought in the dollars, and used the dollars to help shore up the Ghanaian local currency. And this has translated into cascading benefits for the larger economy. We've seen inflation coming down. We've seen fuel prices very stable. We've seen our dollar very stable. And so businesses can plan and their imports and all that. So the larger economy has benefited. And let's say even if we incur the cost of 214 million, if we focus on that alone, then you are only looking at one side of the equation. You need to look at the other side. We actually lost 214 million to generate what benefits for the economy. That is what many people are not looking at this time.
So essentially what you're saying is that when the IMF in its fifth review of Ghana's program under the Extended Credit Facility scheme says that in 2025 through end Q3, losses from the artisanal and small-scale Dory Gold transactions component of G4R have reached $214 million, which represents 0.2% of GDP, mostly on trading losses, but also on gold board off-taker fees. And the fact that these are losses from artisanal and small-scale Dory Gold transactions under the program, which has reached $214 million, as I did indicate. And that for them is a loss. And it is something that bothers the IMF. From your analysis, are you suggesting this is really much ado about nothing?
Yes, it is. Let's also not forget that there were times when our cedi was in trouble. We'll head to the Eurobond market to borrow to come and shore up the cedi. The monies we borrowed from the Euro market were not free money. We had to pay back in foreign currency and at pretty high interest rates, between 10 and 12%. If you don't consider the interest rates or the cost of those borrowings as a loss to the state, then I don't see how you consider the 214 million supposed loss as negative for the economy.
Now, Doc, help us understand something. Now, before we even get to this whether profits or loss matter on the side of the central bank, was the gold board by its fiscal, its policy design created to or set up to make profit or loss necessarily for playing that intermediation or intermediary role?
I've heard this question a few times, and my reference in terms of a response has been to the Gold Board Statute of Establishment, Act 1140. And it is quite clear that Gold Board was set up as a mechanism to help stabilize the forex market, the local currency. So you see by and large that the company, that the Gold Board has a quasi-commercial function. Because for you to be able to help shore up the local currency, you need to get involved in gold trading. But gold trading with the purpose, primary purpose of bringing in enough dollars so that Ghanaian businessmen will be able to access dollars at a lower cost. And I think that is the overriding function of the Gold Board. And to achieve that, it has to be able to regulate market. So it's also a regulator. So it's a quasi-commercial, quasi-regulatory body. That's what I gleaned from reading the Act of Establishment of the Gold Board.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board, Sammy Gyamfi, then says they are yet to fully roll out their mandate, and that for 2025, they've just maintained more or less the PMMC status quo. And that if you look at the Act, so again, you've walked us through some of the objectives, but there's quite a number of them. One, to achieve the object under Section 2, the Gold Board shall be responsible for the marketing of the gold resources of the country, set standards on the quality, purity, and weight of gold gold sold in, stored in, or exported from the country in compliance with international best practices, ensure value addition to the gold of the country, including regulating the local fabrication of gold into castings, mints, jewelry, coins, bars, bullion, industrial components, or other forms of value storage. Buy a portion or all of the gold produced by large-scale mining companies in line with the preemption rights of government exercised by the minister responsible for mines under Section 7 of the Minerals and Mining Act 206, Act 703. And it goes on and on and on and on. So the head of that institution says, look, we haven't even started yet. We're just... so we're taxing more or less, if you look at the aviation sector. We're yet to set off. Do you, from where you sit, see same, which is that, look, they are yet to really fully roll out their full mandate?
You see, what many Ghanaian commentators are not aware of is the fact that Gold Board only recently completed its recruitment exercise.
Okay.
It is still setting up. When you go to the offices, you'll find that the office furnitures and other office equipment they need are not complete. The recruitment was undertaken by KPMG on behalf of the Gold Board, and it was completed sometime about a month or 2 months ago. So I think it would be unfair to expect that all the functions that you read of the Gold Board will be met within this short period. One of the things mandated by the Act establishing the Gold Board is the introduction of a traceability system. I'm aware Gold Board has received a lot of proposals, and they are currently reviewing them to be able to select a vendor to be able to put together a traceability system that prevents illicit gold from entering the system. Again, I personally, when the Gold Board developed its operational instruments and application documents. Let me disclose that I work as a senior technical advisor for the UK Ghana Gold Program. The UK Ghana Gold Program is a UK Home Office support to the government of Ghana in dealing with illegalities in the mining sector, especially in the small-scale mining sector. And we have a memorandum of understanding to provide technical support to the Gold Board. So we took all the operational instruments and their law and reviewed them from the perspective of how they respond to Ghana's international obligations. One, the Financial Action Task Force, whose sub-regional body is the Intergovernmental Agency Against Money Laundering in West Africa, GIABA. And again, we reviewed them in terms of how they respond to the OECD guidelines on responsible mineral sourcing. These two documents require that Ghana took steps to enhance its due diligence process. So in terms of licensing, you need to know who you award trading licenses to. And so to this regard, the Gold Board is working closely with the Financial Intelligence Center. All applications for licenses are referred to the Financial Intelligence Center for vetting and assessment against money laundering risk. A feedback is given to Gold Board, and then Gold Board will proceed with other levels of the customer due diligence, which includes a police background check of the applicant. All these things are intended to rid the sector of illegalities. So when we did our review, we saw some gaps. And so the UK Ghana Gold Program convened a meeting between the Financial Intelligence Center that is responsible for the implementation of the Anti-Money Laundering Act in Ghana, and then the Gold Board. So we met at Holiday Inn, and together, facilitated by the UK Ghana Gold Program, we went through all the documents and highlighted the gaps and make proposals for bridging the gaps. Gold Board on that same day quickly incorporated all the proposed amendments and returned them back for a review. We looked at them together with the Financial Intelligence Center, and we gave them the go-ahead. But there are still gaps that remain in the primary act that ought to be addressed. So we flagged them for future amendments. I say this for Ghanaians to understand that Gold Board is an innovative approach to enhancing our benefits from our gold trade. It may not be perfect at this time because it doesn't have a precedent to be able to follow. What the Precious Mineral Marketing Company was doing did not reflect in the stabilization of our local currency. What the Gold Board is doing is reflecting in the stabilization of our local currency, which means we are doing something right. Let all those who have ideas to contribute to this project do so. And in fact, the Gold Board Act requires Gold Board to publish quarterly reports. And it says the reports must be publicly disclosed. And citizens who have suggestions in terms of how this project can be improved should send feedback to the Gold Board. So rather than pulling down the house, I will encourage all Ghanaians to share ideas. See how we can actually make the best out of this initiative.
That's interesting. My penultimate question to you, Doc, is this. There was a revolving fund of some $279 million which was supposed to be given to Gold Board to start its operations. Now, per our checks, that money has not been made available to them. So what Gold Board has essentially been doing is to, as you rightly said, to act as an intermediary. So they collect money on the bank on behalf of their clients, and they buy gold for them. In some cases, they sell. Now, I want to understand that some have said this temporary shift in in what I call, in the way Gold Board does its work, has also then threatened the finances, or has threatened the work operations of the Bank of Ghana. I don't know where you stand on this matter, and that we must get to a point where Gold Board itself must go and find the money from somewhere and buy the gold for their clients and collect the money from their clients. I don't know what you think about this.
Yeah, at the time when the 2025 budget was read, I think some amount of money was allocated to the Gold Board.
Yes,
for its gold purchases.
279.
Exactly. Now, as at now, that money has not been disbursed.
Yes.
And so in the Ghana EITI report, which will be published by 31st of December in a few days, would actually has actually commented on this. The observation is that in future, when monies are disbursed to institutions like Gold Board, when they are allocated in the budget to institutions like the Gold Board, the Minister of Finance to ensure that the Gold Board gets the money to do the work. Where, for whatever reason, the monies are not disbursed, the Minister of Finance is advised to provide an explanation in his mid-year budget. So that is one observation that we make. Again, we have observed that the relationship between the Gold Board and Bank of Ghana was not made public. So we recommend that in future, any trading relationship between the Gold Board and any third party must be publicly disclosed, especially the financial relationship and the allocation of risk and benefits. It's important that we know. If we had known all these earlier, I don't think we would be going through this, debate at this time.
Let me end with this. So Erastus Asaridonko, who we all know to be, call it our anti-Galamsey, foremost reporter. Now, he put something up on his wall, and it's been trending. It says, "Let us not demonize Gold Board. The absence of it is dangerous. Let's rather work to make it better. We cannot destroy our environment and lose the gold to Chinese and Indian smugglers." Do you find this apt?
This is a comment from a responsible and a patriotic citizen. We need to be reminded of the fact that illegal mining had gone on even under previous governments. But Ghana did not derive any benefit from the illegals, from the trading of the resource, which is the product of illegal mining. And the benefit was largely going to foreigners. If we are going to suffer the environmental damage, then the benefits of that exercise must go to Ghanaians. But we should, of course, take steps to minimize the environmental toll. And to do this is the reason the Gold Board is required to establish a traceability system. Yeah. A time will come when the chain of custody of gold from the mine to the market will be documented. And this will make it difficult for illegal gold to enter the supply chain. What I mean is, you see the way you sell your car? You buy a car, you are the original owner, so all the car documents are with you. When you sell the car to another person, you do transfer of ownership. And when that person also sells to another person, he also does transfer of ownership. So you can trace the people who have been in possession of the car all the way to the original owner.
Okay.
This is where the Gold Board is heading towards. And once we get there, you find that the strategy has actually justified the ends. Now, again, let me also indicate that Gold Board does not intend to continue buying gold at zero discount. In fact, what we're discussing now is an arrangement between Gold Board and Bank of Ghana. But Gold Board recently concluded consultations with gold miners and traders in respect of a mutually acceptable discount rate for their gold trade. And this will go into implementation in 2026. So from 2026 going, Gold Board will not be buying gold at the going international market price, but at a discount to be able to cover its operations. The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners can attest to this, and also the traders.
All right. Doc, I'm not going to keep you for too long. I know that you are also an Ebusi opinion. I know that you have you have many people who actually depend and rely on you for all kinds of things, and you know they come to you especially in the mornings for you to attend to them. So I wouldn't want to take too much of your time, but somebody just drew my attention to something that you posted on your page, and I thought it was quite interesting. You said you're saying that. Oh, okay. So you're asking us to be good citizens, and that if we have any ideas on how we can make this work even better, we should offer them and stop pulling down their house. What was your motivation for putting this one out?
You see, Ghana is blessed
Right.
to have a very receptive and responsive government. If you look at the process leading to the establishment of the Gold Board, it was very participatory, very consultative. A lot of our CSOs had the opportunity to engage with the process. We made suggestions in terms of how it can be improved. Some were accepted, others were not. But we are happy with the final outcome of the arrangement to ensure that Ghana optimizes benefits from its gold resources. But we didn't say we have a perfect situation. But as we go along, I expect every good citizen who has knowledge and expertise in this area to prefer them to the Gold Board so that they will be incorporated and make the whole experiment much better. Not too long ago, I was in Zambia, sorry. I was in Zambia and attending an international conference on the mining sector with focus on green minerals. And I discovered that there's so much interest in what the Gold Board is doing. And many international observers inform me that they want to pay a visit to Ghana to learn from the Gold Board experiments. So if we can all support the process, there is a way in which Gold Board that we see today will become an international best model for managing gold resources and other natural resources of resource-dependent countries. So I think we need to support it. I mean, we should not allow politics to destroy mechanisms put in place to help us optimize our value from our natural resources.
Well, I listened to an interview that Sammy Jeffy granted yesterday, and he sounded a bit, I don't want to use angry, not angry, but he sounded a bit frustrated with what appears to be an attempt to demonize the institution, and he kept referring to what used to be what used to be the case in the past and how things have improved, now, and yet some critics want to paint a different picture. I guess that you would want to have a word of encouragement or motivation for him this morning. I'm sure that he's watching.
Yeah, yes, it can be frustrating when you are doing something with the best of intentions and you find people trying to distract you from your mission. But I've known Sammy Gyamfi for a while, a very smart guy and all that. I think the attack on the Go Board is all because of Sammy Gyamfi. If you put another person there, okay, all this noise will stop. I mean, and it all comes out of envy. My advice to him is that he's doing a good job. He should remain focused. He's got majority of Ghanaians behind him. And so he should not feel or not be distracted by the very few people who are making so much noise about this 214 million loss incurred by the Bank of Ghana. Would rather make losses to stabilize our economy and lay the foundation for economic growth than to make no losses and yet have no impact on the macro economy and run an economy with very high inflation, high exchange rate, and then high fuel prices, high inflation and everything. I mean, we've gotten to a point where I think the benefits of the Go Board activities outweigh the losses.
Dr. Steve Mantea, thank you very much for your time. It's been wonderful talking to you, and the compliments of the season once again, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure. That's Dr. Steve Mantea. He's a policy analyst and also a natural resource governance advocate, talking to us on Good Morning Ghana. Just in case you just tuned us now, there's a special edition of Good Morning Ghana coming to you from a different studio, not the usual, the one that you know. So we're doing Good Morning Ghana today and tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we take a break, and then we're back next week, Monday. And so we're doing something very different from what you usually know. You know, Good Morning Ghana is a newspaper-driven, program, but today we decided to do something differently. One, because the newspapers are not even, out there, and so we've taken up an issue. And we want to deal with the issues based on what the public, interest is. So please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. My name is Amora Audu. Don't go anywhere. Please stay with us.
Of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
The journey continues, but becoming that phenomenal lady doesn't happen in a day.
It takes courage and refusing to settle for less.
This season on the PL show, it gets much more diverse,
engaging and impactful. This is the PL show.
We paint the perfect picture of pain, sleepless nights, hard work, and of course, the ultimate breathtaking view from the mountaintop. Success.
Successful ladies from all walks of life doing amazing things and positively effective change in their respective fields.
And as you know, we share all these with you, our ardent follower, to help you navigate that journey and also come out strong and phenomenal.
This is the PL show.
It's brought to you by Kale Charcoal, Kale 360, and Kale Kicks Toothpaste.
Next season on the Gen Z show.
I want to have you saying, tell me no. What to wait?
My name is Lakisha. Join me and my guest live on Metro TV socials, Facebook, TikTok, IG, every Saturday at 12 noon. What's happening in our world as Gen Zs? Who is getting dragged? What the bloggers are saying, the latest settings in town, and of course, what's given and not given. And yes, why are Gen Zs getting fired in our corporate jobs in America?
Oh, hey, Robin, how's everything?
Hey, everything's fine. I just wanted to let you know I won't be coming in today.
Really? Make a date with me on the Gen Z show, because I'm not doing this without you. Oops! Do you like what you see? Yes, because this season is about to get more dramatic.
Why are you talking to another girl?
She's not real. It was an AI girlfriend. Okay, I won't.
So yes, I've got some interesting topics you wouldn't hear from anyone on the dating sites. The Gen Z show, I got you.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations. Season 3 of The Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
Generation Show, the program for smart children.
Third generation! Children, are you ready?
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called Le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Lebon. Which means when you go there, you get more of the land to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show on Metro TV.
What does he see in her that he's not seeing in me? Look at me.
You're still live in Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. I'm here with Professor Lord Mensah, who is a lecturer in financial economics. I hope I got that correctly, for economics. And but now he's the head of local governance service, and he's joined us here for a conversation about, first of all, his outfit. First of all, we need to understand what the mandate of his outfit is and the state in which he inherited the service, some of the reforms that he's brought to the service, and what should we be looking out for going into 2026. But of course, everybody knows Professor Lord Mensah that when it comes to finance and economics, he's an expert in that area. And so we'll take his thoughts on the IMF's fifth review of Ghana's economy under the extended credit facility, which was supposed to have ended in April next year, but now it looks like it's going to be extended to August next year, because the government still has one or two things that it ought to do, and so it's requested that it be extended for some 3 months. Prof, you and I were talking about first, of course, we started with on the softer note, on the lighter note, how you celebrate Christmas and so on. Now, we all know you to be an analyst. You in the area of finance and economy and so on and so forth. And then the announcement came that you're not going to head an institution called the Local Government Service. Not many people were able or are able to understand what really is the relationship between what you have done almost all your life, which is teaching people in the area of finance and economy, and also engaging the public through the media anytime issues come up. And you've always been very analytical in the way you do it. It doesn't matter whose ox is God. Now, help us understand this. So, finance, economics, local government, really, what's the relationship?
Right.
And why did you accept to take up such a position?
That's a very good question to ask. Yes. I mean, when you look at the arms of management, finance is one of them. Right. Marketing, talking about HR management and all those. Now, the understanding clearly, looking at local government service, is about human resource management. The job is heavy on HR management. And anybody that appreciates anything that has to do with management with scarce resources and how to turn around. Human beings are resources. That forms part of input when it comes to, administrative structures. And so picking the job, I saw it not to be a complete deviation of what I know. Effectively, when you take the local government service, it's an act that established that. I'm talking about Act 936, 2016. Like I said, it's heavy on HR, talking about human resource of about 34,000 and over across the country, 261 assemblies. When you go into a typical assembly, we're looking at only 2 officers that are not recruited, posted, transferred from my office. Looking at MMCs, and then the finance officers who are posted by the controller. All other officers are coming from my office. So it's heavy on HR. But like I said, it's management. Once management, there's no complete deviation. And then also, the focus on local government has been on decentralization.
Right.
And when you talk about decentralization, there are several, arms that we're looking at. Talking about political decentralization, talking about administrative decentralization, which the local government service plays a major role in it.
Okay.
And then we talk about fiscal decentralization, and then decentralized planning. Clearly, but if you look at fiscal decentralization, which is making sure that assemblies becomes financially autonomous, there's an economic aspect in there. That's development of the local economy, and ensuring that every assembly is able to identify their assets that they have and then possibly create liabilities out of it. To some extent, someone will ask, are we getting to a point where financing will be devolved, to the point where some of the assemblies should be able to borrow on their balance sheet on their own, go into project, and then, whatever benefit that comes goes to the people. So bringing governance to the doorstep of the people is not, different from what I knew, and then my orientation as well.
So then you are not in an entirely new, uncharted waters per se.
Of course. Dealing with people as well. My experience as a lecturer, for the past 16 years, 16 to 18 years, also gives me that leverage of interacting with people here and there. So I'm not completely, in a, should I say, a different environment altogether.
Yeah. But this is the first time you are taking up, as a public office, it's always been a public office. Because even as a teacher at University of Ghana, it's a public office you are occupying. But this one is slightly different because you are appointed by a political regime.
Yes.
How has the transition been like? From the classroom to...
yes, it's been tough. I can tell you. And it also depends on the understanding of your workforce. And then, the entire public. Clearly, it is a non-political, agency, but then many times...
you mean non-partisan?
Non-partisan, agency. And many a time the way the place has been run, sometimes you get, that political, party dominance here and there. So it depends on communication and how to, judge and then differentiate between what an administration is and then what, politics is.
Okay. So you are coping very well.
Yeah, so far so good.
Has there been a shocker since you took over? Anything?
Oh yes, there's been a shock. Several of them. In fact, day in and day out, you receive a shock. To your marrow.
Right.
Like I said, it's a human institution, and you are looking at a fine thin line between what politics is and what administration is. Politically, some decisions might be right, but then administratively, it may be wrong. So, for instance, a typical example, replacing a substantive, director with a deputy. Sometimes if you look at the political benefits, it may sound well, but then administratively, it's wrong. You're looking at the long-term impact on your workforce. Demoralizing them. And all those. So, those problems comes every now and then. But then, it has to do with Jojo, how you explain things to those who place up, such requests. And it has been going well so far.
Okay. What is the mandate of... Okay, so before I get there, was it something you've always wanted to do, which is take up a position like this and bring out the kinds of reforms that you believe it ought to have? Whether it's a local government service or wherever, or you really didn't have an eye there. As soon as you got, so when you got a call, how was your reaction? So basically, when you were told that you were supposed to take up such an appointment, how was your reaction?
Yeah, it was surprising. The orientation clearly has been in the lecture hall, more or less. So getting a public service, they are all public service, but this one, you're sitting, somebody will tell you it's more or less a lonely job. You're sitting up there, somebody is looking up, everybody is looking up to you.
Yeah.
You need to take, major decisions. You're looking at the entire country and which direction, the organization or the agency is supposed to go. It depends on you. And so it was quite a shock anyway, because moving out of the lecture hall, and then coming to an environment where your decision, has to reorient a system or change everything, is quite a different thing altogether. And so I was quite, shocked. But then also, when I joined the University of Ghana somewhere in 2013, the target was that, okay, fine, you become a full professor, in the lecture hall. Once you become a full professor, what next? You have to go out to serve, mankind, or In the university, you are still serving, but at the end of the day, you take up a new challenge.
Yeah.
And academics is about taking up new challenge and how you deliver it and then putting it on paper.
Okay.
Is very, very important. So that is what I can say about this appointment.
So there is local government ministry. Why do we need a local government service?
Right, that's a very good question to ask at this point. You see, the ministry is a policy source.
Okay.
Now, when the policy comes, you need men on the ground to run with it.
Ah.
So the service provides the human resource that keeps the policies going.
Okay.
That is why it's supposed to be partisan, so that when a policy comes and the officers are running with it, at the end of the day, devoid of which political party is in power, the policy must continue. And so we have the service which provides the manpower, across the technical staff, let me put it that way,
right,
across all the assemblies in the country. And so that is the difference between myself and the ministry.
So you prepare the human capital for the activities and programs of the local government ministry.
Exactly.
How do you recruit them? How do you find them? What kinds of trainings do you give them?
Okay, fantastic. So per their own conditions of service, they're supposed to have 40 hours of training every year.
Okay.
Right? But then what is happening is that we have different professional classes that we pick. We have the graduate level and then the non-graduate level, which is HND. So 2 entry points we're looking at here.
Right.
And so if you come in with degree, you are categorized as a professional staff.
Okay.
We have about 64 different job classes that we are looking at here. You can come in as an administrator, you can come in as an HR person, you can come in as a budget officer, as an auditor. You can name them all the way to even a cleaner at the assembly level. And then we have what we call it, the sub-professional, which is entering with HND and then also growing through the ranks. Now, if you look at these processes, right? Obviously, it's a recruitment. You need to advertise. So, what I have done since I came in is to ascertain, human resource capacity needs of the local government service.
Okay.
And I did that, and clearly, I've realized that in terms of dominance, the administration class seem to dominate in terms of numbers. I would say that we are even overstaffed in that regard. But when you go to the other classes, especially the technical areas, planning officers, engineers, at assembly level, and all those, we lack, personnel. So our next recruitment, if we should get financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance, we're not going to recruit administrators anymore. Our target is going to be the technical, especially parks and gardens. Government policy focus has been on sanitation as well. Waste management professionals. We need all those, staff. So it's something that I'm looking at. Gone were the days when recruitment were being done like, okay, fine, you've been recommended, pick your letter. I mean, we're going online now for the recruitment, which civil service has, a structure that we can, manage, because we also came out from the civil service.
Yes.
We can also emulate that, a package where assembly will declare vacancies at assembly level. So if an assembly is in need of parks and gardens officer, or 3 or 4 of them, assembly is in need of engineer, those are the ones you will see online, and you apply into it. Those that don't need those officers will not put them there. So these are things, and then we want to also ensure that the staffing is evenly distributed across, the country. If you go into a typical peri-urban assembly, you are going to say that local government service, we're overstaffed. We're not.
Right.
We're not in a sense that if you evenly distribute all the staff across the 261 and then the 16 regional offices, you appreciate that we are really understaffed. And so, because everybody wants to be in Accra, everybody wants to be in Kumasi, everybody wants to be in Koforidua,
or say
Takoradi.
Yes.
You get there and you can see about 5 HR personnel at a particular district assembly, whilst others don't even have one at all. So we are looking at how we can redistribute, across. And so that is how we recruit.
But are you thinking about maybe adding some incentives for persons who don't want to go to some of these quote and unquote deprived areas?
This is public service. I mean, we have a way of, incentivizing those who go to the remote areas. I mean, for instance, recently there was a scholarship that came, and we're looking for, 2 people to go to Japan for 2-year program in relation to local government. I had to go to the remote, those who have spent some time at the remote, and their performance, And so that's what we use in selecting them. I always tell them that in as much as it's a public sector, you're not going to get the monetary incentives, But when something comes up and we have to, dig down to look for, those who have sacrificed, reward-based system that, as I've been proposing every day, trust me, we're going to look at those who have sacrificed and they have been in the remote. So we pick one from our front place, and then there's one at, I think, Bodie or so. That's what we did.
But here's a challenge, Prof. You, as somebody who is overseeing the capital, the human capital leg, for want of a better word, of the work of the local government ministry, every organization you talk to, when it comes to their overheads, they will tell you that their biggest expenditure goes into salaries and emoluments.
Yeah.
You are also looking for the best, okay? And I would say the best as in the best human resource for the ministry. Now, if you find them and they have to come at a certain cost, and finance ministry, of course, the local government finance ministry, we don't have money to pay them. How do you do your work?
Yeah, so we have salary structures across the country.
Yes.
Per the single spine, every single professional who is working in the public sector has, a certain salary level.
Okay.
So, for instance, you come in at the graduate level, we say you are coming with level 16.
Okay.
Right? Those HND are coming in level 12. Now, every level, comes with, salary. So anybody that is applying into the system knows the level that he's starting with. So it's not like the private sector where we need to put up certain incentives for certain categories of people.
Yes.
Of course, over time, if the system gets stretched, and we get to know that, okay, fine. For this, they did this some time ago. There was an, audit class, which were picked with admin class. And they had to jump the auditors to a certain, I think, level 18 or so.
Okay.
Yes, because they needed them. Even though they are coming in at with the same first degree, they had to, jump them.
Yes.
And so these are things that we expect when the system gets stretched. But it's a systemic thing. We all depend on a single spine salary. So it's tough to take that decision at my level, to say that I'm going to bring in a professional, so pay that professional this, salary.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. So what states did you inherit the service? When you got there, what are some of the things that you found out? I'm sure some you were happy about, some you were not happy about. And what have you been doing since you got there to try and fix some of the challenge? If something is good, I'm sure you would maintain, so there's no issue there. But the ones that are not good, how?
Right.
So how have you gone about fixing those problems?
Yeah. So the mindset, has been that you go into a system, right, and the system has certain orientation that has been working. You need to ask yourself, you want it in a certain direction. How do you ensure that your workforce are not demoralized? It's purely HR. So if you have a structure where a junior is sitting on top of a senior, of course, tomorrow you will not be happy. So you have to, make sure that I went through, and I realized that there are some cases that juniors are manning the affairs of the assemblies, whilst the seniors are sitting in books. One of the major decisions I had to take is to move all those juniors to the RCCs, because in a typical assembly, you can have a coordinating director, have a director, and then have a deputy director. But there's the deputy directors were manning the affairs of the assembly, while the coordinators, those who have gone through interview and all passed everything, are sitting in the box. So what should I do? The deputy has tasted the ultimate at assembly level before. If you put them together, there will be problem. So I had to make sure that I displace all of them and then bring in what the substantives. And then later, when there's space, right? And again, this is where the performance also comes in. There's space. You go and then you call in those that you've displaced out of what those who have performed very well while they were at the assembly. So these are things that I met, and so I tend to reorient, the staffing structure. Make sure that seniors occupy where they're supposed to be, and then juniors, you get resistance. And again, that is where the interfacing between politics and administration also comes in, because somebody may be aligned to a particular, political, color. And at that point, he tries to prove that this is, our time. So why do you have to displace me? It was quite, tough. But it goes with, explanation, talking to people, and then for them to appreciate exactly what you are doing. That is one side of it. Another thing that I've realized is that recruitment were being done, so you present your certificate and then you get recruited. What I'm trying to do now is to verify, certificate. So I'm trying to look at linking up with the universities. Every certificate comes with, because I'm coming from a special serial number. With that serial number, you should be able to determine whether indeed the certificate is coming from that institution or not. So we're trying to liaise with the universities to see how we can verify, the certificate. And then also,
have you so far recorded a case of people presenting fake certificates?
Oh yes, yeah, there are
really?
Certain instances. Yes, even to some extent, some of them rise through the ranks all the way to
with fake certificates.
Yes, all the way to director level. And then when they are about to be directors, we verify their certificate. Then you get to the point that this guy
it's not authentic.
It's not authentic. So
what do you do to them when you catch?
Of course, you have to go out of the service.
Yes. We don't just go out of the service. The person must be jailed. The person must be prosecuted.
No, if you don't take it, the person can even take you to court. And in some cases, the court can even rule that look, it's your system that's failed.
No, Prof. So I want to meet that judge that will say that. Whereas the organization cannot fully absolve itself of blame.
Yeah.
Because it is true that you ought to have systems in place to check some of these things. But I'm saying that you who brought the fake certificate.
Oh yeah, you need to be punished.
Yes,
that's very
beyond
true.
Just sacking the person. So please let them prosecute them.
Sacking you in itself is punishment, because at the end of the day, look, you've had some consistent cash flows. Your house, they know your income.
No, but the man,
and then suddenly,
the man or woman, he will take the fake certificate to another place.
Oh no, he
unless
can't.
You prosecute the person.
No, he can't take it there.
Anyway, no, I get
the next level is to make it public, so everybody gets to know you.
Right. Yeah. I see. So you're talking about instances where people have brought in fake certificate. They've actually risen to the top.
Yes. So at the point in time, they have to be, taken out of the service. Yeah. So those things happen.
Okay. Yeah. So still about some of the things that we. So first of all, you said mindset.
That
ought to change.
So yeah, another thing that I have done, which I think is being replicated across the assemblies, is they had core values that had some key words in them that are so touching, so talking about timeliness, right, which is part of their core values.
Yeah.
Client-oriented, service. It's also part of their core values. Innovativeness is part of their core values. So when you come to the headquarters, as we speak now, the waiting room, right, we've placed the timeliness waiting room.
Okay.
Some of the conference rooms have been named innovative conference rooms.
Okay.
Some of the floors, my floor, for instance, is client-oriented, floor.
Something that didn't used to exist?
No.
This is something you have introduced?
Yes. Just to make sure that the core values always bounce on your face every now and then within the working environment. So even if you are doing something that's wrong, you know that where you are sitting, can you imagine, timeliness, waiting room, and you get there late? I mean, how would it sound?
Yeah.
So these are things that, I've done in the past. But going forward, most of the things requires placing systems.
Right.
Apart from the HR, we manage HR with systems. So we are looking at how we can get certain operational tools, right, that will help us, do things efficiently. It will not be like, okay, using an Excel sheet to look for maybe one person here, try to move the person here. That's what I've been doing recently.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to transfer all those things into system, but it requires investment.
Right.
You know, so these are things I'm looking at going into 2026.
Wow.
I hope I've gotten, I think SECU, which is a Switzerland, donor agency, a donor partner, has developed interest in what I want to do. I mean, when it comes to, how to even give them training on service. You see, the training, I mean, since I took over, has been on in person, right? And in-person training, I mean, you bear me out, is quite expensive. Moving staff across the country to a certain, spot. So my question was, how do I execute the same task, efficiently, cost-effectively, and then extend the coverage? Because if you have about 64, job classes, you need to ask yourself, within the year, how are you going to train all of them to have that 40 hours of, training in a year, So with this, we have to put up learning management system for the local government service, where, we'll get to a point where the materials and everything that will be required for them to, to progress will be loaded in the learning management system, go in there and train themselves, and then maybe examine through, AI, generating questions for each and every person that goes into the system, and then build up points for the year. So within the year, we can pick your ID as a staff and then get to know how many hours you've exposed yourself into the system. And then before we even call you for your next level, interview, promotion interview, you should have built certain number of points online. And so that is what I'm looking at, at the next level when it comes to local government service.
I found something when I was doing my research yesterday about your institution. And I thought it was quite refreshing, that you actually have key performance indicators for these local government staff, yes. Service staff. And it is something that is not really out there in the public domain.
No, really.
Because people tend to think that one of the reasons why our local governance architecture is a bit defective is not delivering the kind of outputs that we expect, is because people are not really held accountable, whether they're doing their job well or they're doing their job well. Now I found out, in fact, if you look at it, it says OHLGS, right? Organizes workshop to review performance. Indicators for MMDAs. Yeah. And so what is this workshop meant to achieve,
so
really?
This has been in existence for so many years now.
Yes.
We were doing a sensitization process. You see, before you put up a KPI, the person that you're going to assess him on the KPI must appreciate what a KPI stands for. He should be able to understand what you are looking out for. And that was the exercise we're doing across the country. So we move from there, we zone the countries, and then we move across the country. Now, we have several indicators from administration all the way to sanitation, right? And each of them comes with a certain weight, summing up to 100. And so, depending on also government policies, right? We have a point where we even have to look at how an assembly, you are directing the assembly to engage the private sector. We've also given that aspect a certain weight within the space. So we need to sensitize, our officers for them to appreciate and then seek their input. They think something that we need to do differently from what we are proposing. So those engagements went on across the country, and that is what you see.
I have learned something very interesting from my engagement, which is that KPIs must have a buy-in.
Yes, you need to have a buy-in. You can't impose it.
Yeah, yes. You must have a buy-in from the person you are assessing.
Sure.
It makes it, once there's a buy-in, it's easier for the person to achieve it. Yeah. If there's no buy-in, they say just do it. The person would try, but not because they believe that they ought to do it.
Exactly.
And that's where you're coming
from. So this is
from.
for 2026.
For 2026.
Yes. So the first 3 weeks of January, we're going to sign the contract. And the contract is always signed by the MCE and then the coordinating director at the assembly.
Okay.
Yes. And then the officers one also signed by themselves and then the coordinating director.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But we always want you to sign with your superior. So at the end of the day, if you are not performing, there's that kind of control and then that kind of...
now, and I've just been wondering, with this whole talk about, this advocacy for us to elect our MMDCEs and not select them as we do now. Of course, the model or the modalities for doing that has become in itself a public debate or a subject of debate. But never mind, the whole idea and principle, in theory, we want to get them elected. In fact, the Constitutional Review Committee's report, which was submitted to the President just a few days ago, actually highly recommends that the people want their MMDC to be elected, as we do with MPs. Is there a way that can impact on your work as local government services to help us? Will it impact it even remotely or slightly?
Yeah, it will.
How?
It will, in a sense that, you see, when you go to the assembly, there's a political head who is the MMDC.
Okay.
That is municipal, metro, municipal, district, chief executive.
Okay.
MMDC. And then we have administrative head, who is my officer.
Okay.
Now, if the political head is being elected, I mean, it gives you that signal. You see, we are devolving, right, functions to the doorstep of the people.
Okay.
Now, we have to get to a point where administratively, right, you are providing from the center. Even to the point, it will get to a time that officers who are coming from my office needs to be recruited by the assembly. Oh, yes. That's where we are moving to. It's a process. Decentralization is a process.
Okay.
So politically, if we want to devolve, completely, then we should allow the citizens to select or to elect their, head.
Political heads.
Yes, political heads. Because the citizens are close to the functions. And they will be able to determine this person is the right person to steer the affairs of the assembly or not. Because the assembly is to steer the affairs of the district.
Okay.
Or in simple terms,
assembly. Yes. That's why it's district assembly.
Yes. So effectively, that is very, very key, in that regard. And because of the interfacing between the political head, who is the policy, originator, and then the administrator, obviously is going to, affect my officers. So that relationship is there, and it's clear. It's clear.
Wow. Well, just in case you're joining us, I've been talking to Professor Lord Mensah. We've always been talking to him as a financial economist until we heard one day that he was now going to head a very, very strategic and a very sensitive and a very important institution, which is the local government service. Is the head of that service. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Brush, 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 brush your teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit, happy smile.
Chia winning Nara, me ding edge baby dapa, me dear sonko crane bremo. Now did what you animal with the ed depana me de bremo. And no any summer spices. Summer spices in here, and we will remember various flavors. Ubenya a yako, Ubenya nemchi, you do good jollof woman and we yet there. Ubenya you do quam, you do for you, hot nako pibito, na Emma with Piani, and yet day. When you mean ya, young con your company now for Eka.
Autant you communication, you all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices.
What in the essence of time? I'm going to get it. Samu spices in a Sabi, Daddy so say. Samu spices, Moon Samu.
Samu spices, Yama chicken.
Samu spices,
In Sanaka in Kitswa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, and jollof, and the flavors alcohol bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
The festive season is here again, and your most preferred estate partner is giving you 25% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Bronya Asase promo, Estate Masters is offering this massive discount for outright purchases. This includes free indenture, free site plan, and a free site visit. So what are you waiting for? Rush now and secure a plot of land while it is still hot. Reach out to us using the numbers below or visit our website at www.estatemastersgh.com. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
At the heart of Amasaman, along the Akran Sawam Road, something fresh is growing. At Pop Farms, we raise 100% organic broilers, naturally fed, humanly raised, and processed with the highest hygiene standards. Whether you're feeding a family at home, serving dinners in your restaurant, stocking your supermarket, or running a busy chore bar, Pop Farms delivers freshly frozen, premium quality chicken straight from our farm to your table. Fast, reliable doorstep delivery, fair prices, grown with care right here in Ghana. Clean, healthy, local, organic. That's the Pop Farms promise. Call us today on 024-777-3668 or 054-290-4156 or email sales@popfarmsgh.com. Pop Farms, raising the standard of poultry in Ghana.
Pop Farms chicken, naturally raised, honestly delivered.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
In a world where everything is connected, your business's security is only as strong as its weakest link. The growing threat of cybercrime has become an unescapable reality. In 2025 alone, the projected cost of cybercrime is expected to grow to $10 trillion globally, with small-medium businesses disproportionately targeted. Cyber threats have become increasingly sophisticated, widespread, and invisible, placing unequipped organizations at risk of massive damages in a matter of seconds. Meet Virtual InfoSec Africa, Ghana's Tier 1 certified managed security service provider. We don't just monitor threats, we predict, prevent, and respond 24/7. At Virtual InfoSec Africa, we deliver bold and cost-effective cybersecurity solutions tailored to your organization's size and complexity. Whether you're a startup or a national institution, our services scale with your needs. We offer 24/7 SOC monitoring, early warning threat intelligence, managed detection and response, digital forensics and incident response, and predictive analysis and threat hunting. From endpoint protection to dark web forensics, we secure every layer of your digital ecosystem. Why wait for a breach to act? Join the ranks of high institutions who trust Virtual InfoSec Africa to secure their future. Start your 3-month free trial of our early warning threat intelligence platform today. For more inquiries, contact 055-689-2086 or visit our website at www.virtualinfosecafrica.com.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tonton. Mr. Femi Kakalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, is that you?
Improve car.
Yeah.
Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Femi sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso
Come tom preko.
Ama, nansi mi general well-being enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oyiwa. Eni mo ko. Give us JC mixture and the capsules. Aye num boom. And what some na mo kana. E bua emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be bua wo kunu. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya nanim te sese ne oyi chokoma.
ne castle. Achesa.
Apemfo abatra wo mo manufuo ne nkwada wo ne fie dumienu ka.
At the heart of Amasaman, along the Accra Sawam Road, something fresh is growing. At Pop Farms, we raise 100% organic broilers, naturally fed, humanly raised, and processed with the highest hygiene standards. Whether you're feeding a family at home, serving dinners in your restaurant, stocking your supermarket, or running a busy chore bar, Pop Farms delivers freshly frozen, premium quality chicken straight from our farm to your table. Fast, reliable doorstep delivery, fair prices, grown with care right here in Ghana. Clean, healthy, local, organic. That's the Pop Farms promise. Call us today on 024-777-3668 or 054-290-4156 or email sales@popfarmsgh.com. Pop Farms, raising the standard of poultry in Ghana.
Pop Farms chicken, naturally raised, honestly delivered.
You're live and Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television Special Edition. My name is Aldo Muro, and my guest for today, Professor Lord Mensah, who is the head of the government local service. The head of local, is it government local service? I don't know why I keep mixing this thing up. Yes. And he's my guest on the show today. And, you know, I'm getting some very interesting messages on some of the things that you have said. So first of all, Kofi Capito says I should say hello.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he says he's enjoying the discussion, and so I should say hello to you. But your very good friend, Professor Ebo Hinton, one of the foremost authorities when it comes to branding and marketing.
Sure.
Now he sends this message, and he says I should ask you. Now he says that. Good morning, Moro. Extend the best of the season to Professor Lord Mensah and explain I wish him all the best in your great job. But he continues to say, kindly check with him what the citizen experience or customer experience KPIs are in the local government framework. I am interested because for public sector management in Africa, citizen experience management is a perennial and huge challenge. So you're sitting at the top, you're delivering a certain kind of experience, but whether that experience is finding expression in what the people do down there, that's another issue. So it says there is next to no accountability on experience issues, and several presidents have complained about this in the last 20 years. In the past, we have had several private conversations on these issues. So how does citizen experience pan out in the KPI framework? Is it in there?
Right, that's a very good, question. I know it will come from Professor Hinson. He's a marketing professor.
Yes.
Yes, clearly the essence of, local governance is to, bring governance to the doorstep of the people. And I appreciate, the question in the sense that, you are selling more or less a service, to the people.
Yeah.
Even though the people owns, the assembly, the activities of the assembly must be, must fit into what, the people are looking out for. As part of the KPIs, we have what we call client service indicators. And clearly it is well spelled in there. We've assigned weights to it, so dominant. And in fact, in my next, recruitment, client service officers are part of the officers that I will need. So I will tell Professor Hinson that this is clearly, spelled out in the KPIs. And the engagement, the engagement is two-way, right? You're looking at the assembly's processes of engaging the public, and then also the public's perception about assembly's, interests are things that we look out for. And these are all well spelled in the KPIs.
But do you have an expert or a professional who should be building the capacities of the staff
Yeah.
to be able to appreciate what the customer experience is?
Yes. So usually they are on consultancy basis.
Okay.
And we have what we call client service manual, which was developed by a consultant. We are about to roll out training across the country. I think part of training was done across some of the assemblies. We want to roll out on full scale. And with this, I can say that, yes, indeed, professionals are, engaged when it comes to, the client service aspect of it.
How do you fund your activities? Is it just strictly a consolidated funded institution, or you get support from some external donors or external partners?
So if you look at the sources of funding for the office, we have the donor partners, the DP funding, and then we have Government of Ghana funding. Government of Ghana takes care of some of the, goods and services, and then also the salary aspect of our operations. And then the DPs, most of the time, comes in when probably we need system restructuring, when we have to develop certain manuals. Governments, somehow also support some of these manuals. So we have, different sources of, finance. And clearly, that is what has been keeping the office going.
Now, speaking of building capacities, if somebody wanted to say, do you have institutions approaching you for scholarship purposes? If maybe somebody wants to go and
so out of the
further
act,
develop themselves.
Yes, out of the act, we have the ILGS, Institute of Local Government Service.
Right.
So what we normally do is that we ascertain the capacity needs of the service. Then we recommend to ILGS that this is the capacity needs of the, what do we call it, the local government workforce. And we need you to cost it. Then they bring the bill, and out of it, you can get donor funding, or in some cases, Government of Ghana, funding for the training. Yes.
Decentralization, democracy, and development. That's your motto.
Yes.
Why? Why this? Why the three?
Yeah, the 3Ds. Yes. Yeah, so we're talking about decentralization.
Yes.
Right. You can only decentralize when there's democracy.
Okay.
If there's no democracy, you cannot decentralize.
Right.
For instance, a point where there are some, places that you cannot go. Point where, there are some issues that you cannot be aired at the local level. There are restrictions here and there. I don't think you can achieve the decentralized, all the various arms of decentralization, And then beyond that, we're looking at development. Development comes with stability, and once you have stability, obviously we expect development as an outcome. So the 3Ds were not just chosen randomly. They are connected. Yes.
Well, Professor Hinson said he's more than happy to support you in your endeavor. He says he believes in your competencies. Yes. He knows that you have what it takes to turn things around.
Sure.
And whatever role you want him to play to assist you or to help you.
He's a very good friend. So
yes,
we have a very good relationship.
In fact, he says he doesn't even mind if you want to make him a client service officer.
I can't pay him, sorry. I can make him a consultant in the local government service.
As a client service officer, that's too low.
Yes.
All right, so Prof, he says you get in touch. So yes, but it's extremely important. See, bottom line is how do the people perceive or feel about your services? That's what bottom line is. For instance, let me read this message to you. This one here says that. So if you take this question from Reverend Joe Slatte, Reverend Joe Slatte is more like an uncle.
Okay.
He wears three caps. First of all, he's a man of God, pastor, a minister of God. That's what I should be saying. 2, he's a lawyer.
Right.
And then 3, he's a journalist.
Right.
So he's a big man. Now he says, of course, domiciled in England. Okay. Now he says, on local governance generation, first of all, he wants to know whether Good Morning Ghana can do something about the fact that Accra is too filthy or Ghana is too filthy. Yeah. So we'll look at that. Reverend, we'll discuss that extensively. But he goes ahead to say, on local governance, generation of revenue, we must take land registration very seriously. There are too many properties without land title. The district assemblies are losing money. It's a problem for him. Please ask Mr. Mensah to comment on my observation. Given that tribalism is real in Ghana, is it not the case that minority tribes like Gadangbe's will suffer in their own land if district assembly leaders are politically elected unless there is a deliberate positive discrimination policy in place? So, and Reverend, thank you very much for the compliment. So, I don't think in principle he has anything against electing our MMDCs, but he fears that for a place like Greater Accra, cosmopolitan as it has become, the Garangwes may lose out. Even though, yes, the president, if what was being proposed is anything to go by, presidents will nominate 5 people, and then they'll go for some kind of vetting. It's pulled down to 3, and then the 3 will go for elections. Unless the president is deliberate about it. Otherwise, he thinks that his people will lose out. But first of all, the land title registration and things like that, all those things come under your...
They do in terms of the capacity.
Exactly.
To ensure that they take advantage of the resources available to generate more revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. So we've taken notice of that. There are a lot of avenues and then possible losses, that leakages, let me put it that way, that assemblies are overlooking. And as part of our, KPIs, we're looking at, as an assembly, right, if someone comes in and asks for permit, right, that's the first point to get the person hooked in terms of your property rate. If the person comes to, ask for building permit, right, that's the point where you get to know that the person will end up having a building on the land. And as a result of that, you get what? Your property rate consistently. So we are looking at how the assemblies can connect data on property rates and then, what do we call it? Building permits and then property rate. Where, we accept that, okay, fine. If someone comes in for building permit, that's the starting point of the assembly's, revenue sources. And on this, particular person, it could be a business as well. Okay. Effectively, these are things that are being worked on to ensure that the assemblies are improved on their, and then another thing that we're looking at, innovative ways of, generating revenue. Okay. Whether the assembly has instituted, something of that sort. Yeah. They're all part of the, KPIs. Yes.
Now, Kofi Kapito is back. He says, congrats to Prof. I like his approach, but he's talking about the current MMDCs. The attitude of these assemblies is very troubling. Consumers are having a bad experience. I will come and see you for some discussion of these issues. Okay, thank you very much. And but he wants to know whether it's possible for the assembly to make a bylaw and generate revenue.
Yes. It is allowed in the Act.
Okay.
Yes, it is in the Act. Okay. Because the Act clearly recognizes the heterogeneity in the resource availability. Yeah, so if the assembly can, make up a bylaw that will situate, their revenue generation within the context of what they have at their, assembly, they're allowed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's enough about how do you call it, the your institution, which is local government. And but I've been going through your website. It's not bad looking at all. Yes, vision, mission, motto. Anyway, so we will now go ahead and talk about the economy, because there's no way you're going to leave. You're going to join us or visit us without getting your brief thoughts about how the economy is faring. Sure. The budget has been read. Appropriations have been done, and so I'm sure that the ministries, departments, and agencies are waiting for the monies, I'm sure, to hit their accounts for them to start to basically hit the ground running. What are your brief thoughts about the 2025-2026 budget? And from where you sit as a teacher of economics and finance, what is this government doing differently in the way it is managing the economy as compared to what we witnessed in the past?
Yeah, so clearly we have to contextualize it. There is a government that inherited an IMF program. And, the IMF comes with a lot of, restrictions here and there in terms of your fiscal, space. It is also a government that is able to identify, being in government at the point where exchange rate was running around 17, per the dollar. What are the key low-hanging fruit areas to emphasize in terms of management?
Okay.
So that at least in the shortest possible time, we can, curb, the exchange rate dominance as far as the economic management indicators are concerned. For me, right, what this government has done, which for me, which I'm so happy with, was the Gold Board initiative. We live in a country where, reaping the full benefit of our natural resources has always been a problem. So if a model, being proposed by a government, and that model is able to aggregate, right, possibly incentivize, artisanal miners so they don't sell their gold, outside the government loop, right? And any foreigner who wants to come and buy gold must hit, the Gold Board. For me, it's novel. You are plucking leakages. You want the gold that our artisanal miners are, generating to leak in to go to Togo? I don't think that should be the case. It's more or less like Cocoa Board. Cocoa is being aggregated. We are able to leverage on that at a point in time when Cocoa Board goes to the market. They are able to borrow at a lower rate compared to the central government itself. So if you have a commodity like gold, you can centralize it in that manner, which gives you certain leverage. For me, I go for it. And in the immediate term, we've seen the benefit, the impact on the exchange rate. The exchange rate impact, that reduction, if you look at a trickling down economic effect, right, it's so huge that we have to make sure that the Gold Board works. We have to make sure that it works. So that is one side on the government. But then the economic reorientation, it takes time. You cannot, just get up and say you want to diversify, an economy. Economy that has been dependent on commodities and usually detected by, global commodity prices. Reorienting it is quite, tough. So I always give a slack, to the government. I'm looking at the 2026 budget. Clearly, everything in there shows that government is prepared to reorient this economy. If you look at, the big push, right? If the proceeds that we are getting from the Gold Board, some of them are able to be invested into roads. The economic benefit of roads is so huge. That is when spending hours on roads is going to reduce. Some of the time that we waste spending maybe 6 hours to 7 hours going to Kumasi. If you have a road that can take you maybe 2.5 to 3 hours, the 2 hours that is left is a man hour that can be converted into productive, hours. Mm-hmm. There's savings there. Talking about the shocks of cars, the spare parts of cars, which, we always import because of bad roads. If we get good roads, trust me, the benefit in importing, spare parts is so huge because it's going to reduce the importation. And once it reduces the importation, it has a feed on the foreign exchange reserves that we are building. So as a country, we need to appreciate the direction the economy is going. I'm so happy. All the indicators are showing a good signal. But, economy that has had economic indicators that, for example, the exchange rate keeps on going up. You don't expect that, immediately it comes down, there's going to be a reaction. The market is going to take its time to appreciate whether what they are seeing, right, is a true direct reflection of the economy. And that has come up. That's why we are seeing what we are seeing on prices, being stable on the market. I'm not saying prices will reduce generally, because inflation in general does not, if inflation comes down, it does not mean that prices are coming down. It's the rate at which the prices are increasing that has reduced. So we are enjoying that kind of stability that is supposed to be. So it has to do with serious economic management. Now, trust me, the benefit that Gold Board is bringing in, talking about 10 billion, which was recently announced, right? In a certain economic management space, right, you can incur foreign, what do we call it? Foreign expenditures that will neutralize these inflows. That's also economic management. So what reserve are you going to build to shore up, the demand for the dollar in your domestic market? So effectively, there's something going on when it comes to economic management. Government is prioritizing the needs of the people. And that is what we should support as a country.
So when you hear some of your colleagues say that there's a certain deliberate attempt by the government to hide the real issues, and the real issues is that we are buying gold, okay, exporting gold, earning forex in order to stabilize the city. But what kind of gold are we buying? Okay, and is the gold that we're buying are we buying at the expense of destroying the environment? And that kind of conversation is not being had because the macro indicators look good. So the government is on some kind of a PR stunt, okay, which is to say that, well, the macroeconomic indicators are looking good. But what is it that we're doing to make sure the macroeconomic indicators are looking good? There's a certain deliberate attempt to sit on that and not bring those issues up, and that, as one of your colleagues put it, he says, if all that it takes to manage an economy is to produce gold illegally, destroy the environment, and keep pumping the gold to show stability of the city, then it doesn't make sense. It is not innovative. This is not what we voted this government to do. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, so, Moro, I grew up in a mining area, typical Akotia, one of the villages there, and myself, I was in together. For the first time, I heard of responsible mining from my people recently when I went to the village.
When was this?
Now, I'm talking about last 3 days.
Just last 3 days?
Last 3 days. Responsible mining.
In your interaction with the miners?
Yes, with the miners. They are my cousins, they are my siblings, I'm talking about here.
Yes.
They started talking about responsible mining. Now, you see, I'm a mathematics person. My foundation is mathematics. I deal with data. Clearly, we should go back in the years and then ascertain the possible environmental deterioration that we were having compared to now, and then the benefit that Gold Board is giving us. Before we can weigh in and say that we are shielding, the benefit that, Gold Board is giving us, and therefore we're not talking about, the environmental hazards that is being caused. Now, there's a level of investment that was being missing when it comes to mining from my people. Those are I'm talking about the Akotia people. Now, do you know they've come to realize that fetching the sand and washing it in the water is quite problematic, and therefore they have to use trucks to convey the water, the soil that they extract the gold from, away from the river and the forest and take it somewhere to go and wash. Those places have been earmarked purposely for washing. That is the responsible mining they are talking about. They are also very much aware that this is going to reduce their profit because that carrying cost, right, coming in will reduce their profit. But they don't mind. They need to be on a job. They need to put food on the table, right? So something is being done. We shouldn't think that, because of Gold Board, and more so, like I said, mining is mining, right? We shouldn't see every excavator operating as illegal. No. People go through processes of getting licenses and then also, using that to extract, to get their gold, and then sell it to the market. But the advantage we are getting and then the possible reinvestment into the economy should recognize this environmental deterioration. And you will see a lot of lands being reclaimed across the country. So that is something that I would say, instead of just throwing it away, to say that, yes, of course, we are benefiting from Gold Board, and as a result of that, we are not thinking about the environment.
I see. So when people say that there's a certain fixation, with gold as a way of managing our currency, and that it's a no-brainer.
Right.
Just mining gold and selling and making money. It's a no-brainer. And that there are non-mineral rich countries whose economies and currencies are doing much better than that of Ghana. They don't have the gold, they don't have the diamond, they don't have the manganese, and so on.
You see, every
so why are we so it's like, so if there's no gold, we can't do anything.
Hold on for me. In economics, there's what we call competitive advantage.
Okay.
Every country, right, or even at our own level, we take advantage of our strength.
Right.
Is there anything wrong with taking advantage of your strength? But then, like I said, we should know, right, how to, diversify. And that will not come, within 9 months. No. The proceeds we are making from Gold Board, giving us that kind of stability in currency, giving us, some kind of funds that can be reinvested in the economy. Like I said, going into 2026, government has made provision for big push. Roads alone, if you finish investment in roads and do it very well, the economic benefit that comes with it. It's part of economic diversification.
Right.
Because it's going to reduce your import of spare parts. Target certain agriculture areas as far as your investment is concerned. So you rely on the low-hanging fruit. Make sure that you cash in on those low-hanging fruit, which Gold Board is providing us with that. And then see how, going forward, in the long term, we can, as a country, invest in certain areas of the economy that will diversify. Policies like in Kukonketenkete, we import chicken over $2 billion a year. If we are able to, produce in Kukonketenkete within, the country up to 80%, the forex savings that we'll make. So for me, it's too early to say that we are over-relying on, gold. We have to look at how government, spend when it comes to the proceeds or the benefit that we are getting from the gold. Yes.
There's a portion of the IMF reports, and that's my penultimate question to you before you go. There's a portion of the IMF reports that where we're told that the government of the day is requesting for a 3-month extension to be able to deal with some structural problems. So your very good friend, Dr. Thuy Champong, actually put this up yesterday and said, on Ghana's 3 months IMF program extension, it says Ghana's 6th and final review of the program is scheduled for April 2026, after which we can access the last tranche of $360 million, bringing the total disbursed to the country since program commencement in May 2023 to $3 billion. Now, the data cutoff period for the final review is the end of December 2025. Okay. Now it says, however, as the fund noted in paragraph 46, page 27 of the 5th review report released on December 17, 2025, a 3-month ECF extension is proposed to implement reforms underpinning the 6th and last review. The current arrangement expires on May 16, 2026. The extension through August 16, 2026 would help reach an understanding on the policy supporting completion of the 6th review, while allowing sufficient time to prepare and circulate board documents. To restate, the 3-month technical extension is to complete the final review, as some data points accompanying some of the reforms which were delayed coming later. Such minor extensions are common in IMF programs worldwide. There is nothing untoward about this. It's been a big debate on social media. Is that an issue there? The extension.
You've been in a program for 3 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And administratively, it requires 3 months to wrap up. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
As a country. For me, there's nothing wrong with that. Yes.
Okay. All right, Prof. I guess that again, I talked about penultimate question. Now let's use the rest of the 2-3 minutes to talk about the central bank.
Yes.
So the central bank is the one that's been advancing monies to Gold Board to buy gold on his behalf. Do you agree with those who say that? So first of all, the central bank's decision to respond to the IMF's talk about $240 million loss in its gold operations. There are some who feel that the central bank should not have even responded to the IMF's statement or the IMF report, because that report couldn't have been produced without the knowledge of the government of the day, central bank, finance ministry, and perhaps the presidency.
Yes.
Right? Because it's a staff level agreement. And when we talk about staff level agreement, 2 key agencies, finance and central bank. So for the central bank to have come out to respond to the IMF report creates a certain impression that it was not even aware about this whole talk about some 214 losses. Whether it is true or not is another matter. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the central bank shouldn't have even bothered to respond. That's my first question to you. 2, is the central bank being made to engage itself too much in what we call quasi-fiscal operations, which then deepens the worry that some people have about fiscal dominance? 2 questions in one, just briefly, before we go. We have just 3 minutes.
Right. So if you look at the mandate of both the finance minister and then the governor of the central bank, clearly we cannot say that they should sit separately.
Okay.
One is looking at the fiscal, and then one is looking at the monetary.
Right.
The fiscal needs the monetary, and the monetary also needs the fiscal. We have a situation where, the relationship between the finance and then the central banking is very, very important. Getting that reaction from the central bank, the loss that Gold Bank picked, the central bank's loss. So if you look at it from the corporate governance structures, the owners of Gold Bank is, the central bank. And the central bank more or less representing Ghana. So if, the central bank has taken Gold Board has taken a loss.
Okay.
And then, central bank comes to announce it. It's more or less communicating to the shareholders of the country.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But then, whether the loss is a book loss or is a market loss, that is what we need to look at.
Okay.
If it's a book loss, it becomes a problem.
Okay.
But for this, it's a market loss.
Right.
And this has to do with, the market dynamics. If you tend to buy gold at maybe 4,000 for an ounce, and then you go to the market, it's now 3,900. I mean, the $100 dollar losses, you absorb them. So it's purely market loss. And for me, I won't see that to be a loss that we should worry about.
Prof, thank you. Prof is a very good friend. He's taking time off his very busy schedule to join us this morning. It's been wonderful talking to you. A lot of our viewers have enjoyed the conversation. In fact, I think we should be doing a lot of this one-on-ones on Good Morning Ghana. We'll look at that. My name is Aldo Moro. Compliments of the season. Thanks to the production team led by Bright Amining and the rest of you, Kiki and the rest of you. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll do a final edition of Good Morning Ghana. It's going to be mega. Don't go anywhere. Salamu alaikum. Bye-bye.
I'll bet to you. I'll bet to
Line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Samacha Sapapa.